Deep beneath the Earth's surface, a pack of vicious wart dogs is hot on his trail. At first, it looks like Kong is desperately trying to escape, but that's exactly what he wants them to believe. He lures the entire pack toward a dead-end cliff, then everything changes. The creatures charge forward without realizing they're running straight into a trap Kong prepared long before they arrived. The ground suddenly collapses. Massive boulders come crashing down, crushing several wart dogs instantly. The survivors freeze. Kong doesn't. He grabs the nearest beast, tears it in half with his bare hands, and unleashes a thunderous roar that echoes across hollow earth. That alone is enough. The remaining wart dogs immediately turn around and disappear into the darkness. Hunt over. Kong drags 2 of the carcasses back to his cave, finally ready to enjoy a well-earned meal. But the moment he bites into the meat, he suddenly winces in pain. One of his teeth has become badly infected. For the king of Hollow Earth, even eating has become a struggle. Meanwhile, on the surface, another titan has appeared. In the heart of Rome, Italy, the giant titan Scylla tears through the city, leaving destruction in her wake. People flee in every direction, but the chaos doesn't last for long. Far beneath the ocean, Godzilla senses the disturbance. Moments later, the king of the monsters erupts from the sea and storms into Rome. The battle is brutally short. Scylla never stands a chance. Godzilla overwhelms her before ending the fight with a devastating atomic breath. Threat eliminated. Balance restored. As if nothing happened, Godzilla casually walks into the ancient Colosseum, curls up in the middle of the arena, and goes right back to sleep. For him, saving the world is just another ordinary day. But while Godzilla is resting, something far more dangerous is already beginning beneath the Earth. Deep inside Hollow Earth, a Monarch observation outpost suddenly detects an unexplained anomaly. A brand new sinkhole opens without warning. Every monitoring system immediately starts malfunctioning. Magnetic readings spike. Communications begin cutting in and out. The entire base is thrown into chaos. Before anyone can figure out what's happening, the team transmits an emergency report to Monarch headquarters. Unfortunately, nobody treats it as a real threat. Dr. Elaine Andrews, Monarch's leading Kong expert, receives the report from Director Hampton. The scientists dismiss the strange readings as nothing more than magnetic interference, a simple equipment failure. They couldn't be more wrong. Around the same time, we reunite with Gia, the last surviving member of the ancient Iwi tribe from Skull Island. After Skull Island's destruction, Elaine adopted Gia and raised her as her own daughter. Since Gia is deaf, she communicates through sign language while attending a special school. Everything seems perfectly normal until class suddenly comes to a halt. Without even realizing it, Gia begins drawing the same strange symbols over and over again, symbols she's never seen before. Her teacher immediately notices something isn't right. She tells Elaine that Gia has become increasingly distant, rarely interacting with other students, and constantly drifting off into her own world. Later that evening, Elaine studies Gia's drawings alongside Monarch's mysterious transmission from Hollow Earth. Within seconds, her heart sinks. The patterns are identical. This isn't a coincidence. Somehow, Gia is connected to whatever is sending that signal. That very night, the situation takes another terrifying turn. Back at the Monarch outpost, every security camera suddenly begins shutting down one by one. The control room loses contact with the entire facility. Only a single camera remains online for just a few more seconds, long enough to capture one chilling image, a gigantic glowing eye staring directly into the camera. Then, static. The screen goes black. The entire outpost disappears without another transmission. Realizing this is far more serious than anyone expected, Elaine seeks out someone who's uncovered impossible truths before, Bernie Hayes. These days, Bernie hosts a wildly popular podcast exposing Titan conspiracies and mysterious Monarch secrets. The moment he compares Gia's drawings with Monarch's transmission, he doesn't hesitate. This isn't interference, it's an SOS. Something in Hollow Earth is asking for help. Bernie agrees to help decode the message, but on one condition. He wants to join the expedition himself. Reluctantly, Elaine accepts. Before the team can even leave, another emergency alert flashes across every Monarch screen. Godzilla is on the move, and this time, he isn't wandering. He's heading somewhere with a purpose. If the same signal is powerful enough for Godzilla to respond, then whatever is waiting beneath the Earth is far more dangerous than anyone imagined. At nearly the same moment, Kong climbs through a nearby sinkhole and collapses near Monarch's surface facility. Gia immediately senses something is wrong. For once, Kong isn't angry, he's hurting. Elaine quickly discovers the problem. His infected tooth has become dangerously swollen. Without wasting a second, Monarch calls in Titan veterinarian Trapper Beasley. Arriving in a massive cargo helicopter, Trapper calmly sedates Kong before performing what might be the biggest dental procedure in human history. The infected tooth is removed and replaced with a custom-built polymer implant, powerful enough to withstand Kong's incredible bite force. A short time later, Kong slowly opens his eyes. The pain is finally gone. Meanwhile, Bernie finishes decoding the mysterious transmission. He looks directly at Eileen. This isn't just a signal, it's a distress call. And if we can hear it, Godzilla can hear it too. That changes everything. Eileen immediately briefs Director Hampton. If someone inside Hollow Earth is desperately calling for help, and even Godzilla is preparing for what's coming, ignoring it is no longer an option. Within minutes, Hampton authorizes a full expedition. Eileen, Gia, Trapper, Bernie, and a Monarch security team led by Mikhail prepare to descend into Hollow Earth. None of them realize they're about to uncover a secret that has remained buried for thousands of years. As preparations begin for the Hollow Earth mission, Eileen recruits Trapper Beasley, knowing they'll need the world's best Titan veterinarian if anything goes wrong. Just then, Gia suddenly appears. She insists on coming with them. Eileen refuses immediately. The mission is simply too dangerous, but Gia signs just one sentence. If I go, Kong will trust you. Eileen pauses. She knows Gia is probably right. Reluctantly, she agrees. Moments later, the team prepares to board their aircraft. Just as the hatch begins closing, a familiar voice comes shouting across the runway. Bernie Hayes. Completely out of breath, he rushes toward the transport. Seriously, you're leaving without me? After everything we've been through, I earned a front row seat. Elaine can't help smiling. Bernie may be a conspiracy podcaster, but he's also helped save the world before. A few minutes later, the expedition finally begins. At the very same time, Kong dives back through the sinkhole, returning to Hollow Earth. Neither side realizes they're chasing the exact same mystery. Soon afterward, both arrive beneath the Earth's surface. Kong heads home. Eileen's team heads toward the Monarch outpost that first detected the mysterious distress signal. The moment they arrive, every conversation stops. The entire facility has been wiped off the map. Buildings are ripped apart. Equipment lies scattered everywhere. Not a single survivor remains. Even Eileen is stunned. In all the years Monarch has explored Hollow Earth, nothing like this has ever happened. Then she notices something carved into the nearby mountain, a gigantic handprint, far larger than Kong's. Mikhail immediately asks the question everyone is thinking. Did Kong do this? Eileen shakes her head. Without hesitation, no. If something destroyed this outpost, it's something we've never seen before. Nobody argues. The team quickly leaves the area before whatever caused the attack comes back. Meanwhile, Godzilla has reached a nuclear power plant in France. But instead of destroying it, he begins absorbing the reactor's radiation. The French military responds immediately. Fighter jets, missiles, heavy artillery. Nothing even slows him down. Watching the footage, Monarch reaches a disturbing conclusion. Godzilla isn't feeding because he's hungry. He's powering himself up. Whatever threat he senses, even the king of the monsters believes he needs to become stronger before facing it. Back in Hollow Earth, Kong finally returns to his cave. But something feels different. He catches a scent he's never smelled before. Following it deeper underground, he discovers a tunnel that definitely wasn't there before. Curious, he steps inside. The walls are covered with glowing crystals, the very same crystals that power his axe. As Kong moves forward, the crystal embedded in the axe suddenly lights up. Then he sees something that stops him cold. Giant ape skeletons, dozens of them. For the first time, Kong realizes he may not have been the last of his kind after all. Hope replaces curiosity. He follows the trail. Moments later, the tunnel opens into an entirely new region of Hollow Earth. That's where he spots a small orange-furred ape quietly staring at him. Kong slowly reaches out, trying to show he's friendly. The little ape immediately bites his hand, then takes off running. Kong chases after him, but it's a setup. Several adult apes suddenly leap out from every direction and attack. The ambush doesn't last long. Kong easily overpowers them. One ape slips off a cliff, and Kong instinctively grabs his arm, pulling him back to safety. Instead of thanking him, the ape swings at Kong again. Wrong decision. Kong throws him straight back down the cliff, sending the rest fleeing in panic. Finally, he catches the young ape. His name is Suko. Instead of hurting him, Kong simply points ahead. He wants answers. Realizing escape isn't an option anymore, Suko reluctantly agrees to lead the way. Elsewhere, Elaine continues investigating the destroyed outpost. While reviewing the final security recording, she finally catches a blurry glimpse of the creature responsible. But before she can get a better look, every system suddenly shuts down. The aircraft loses power, its engines die. Within seconds, it begins falling straight toward the ground. Everyone braces for impact. Then, just moments before crashing, every system suddenly comes back online. The mysterious signal has struck again. This time, Gia quietly points toward a distant mountain range. She doesn't need to explain. Everyone already knows. That's where the signal is coming from. The team lands nearby and continues on foot. As they enter the jungle, Trapper suddenly stops. Every instinct tells him they're walking into danger. Something isn't right. We should find another route. Mikhail ignores him. He orders everyone to keep moving. He barely takes 3 more steps before a gigantic carnivorous plant explodes from the ground and swallows him whole. No warning, no chance to react. The rest of the team runs for their lives. Even Bernie completely loses it. Nope, I officially hate this place. After barely escaping the jungle, they stumble upon something no one expected: ancient ruins. Evidence that an advanced civilization once lived here. Following the ruins deeper into the valley, they arrive at a breathtaking temple dedicated to Mothra. While exploring the structure, Gia discovers a hidden mechanism beneath the floor. The moment she activates it, water begins flowing through ancient stone channels that haven't moved in thousands of years. Without saying a word, Gia follows the stream. The others quickly follow behind. Seconds later, an enormous hidden passage slowly opens. Beyond it lies an entire forgotten civilization, exactly like the place Gia has been seeing in her visions. And at that moment, they unknowingly step into the greatest secret Hollow Earth has kept hidden for thousands of years. While Monarch searches for answers, Godzilla is already making his next move. After absorbing enormous amounts of radiation in France, he doesn't stop. Instead, he heads straight for the Arctic Ocean. Monarch immediately figures out why. Hidden beneath the frozen sea lies one of the most powerful titans on Earth, Tiamat. But defeating Tiamat isn't Godzilla's real objective. Her lair contains one of the planet's largest natural energy reserves. Godzilla isn't hunting, he's evolving. Whatever threat he senses, even he refuses to face it at his current strength. Deep inside Hollow Earth, Kong continues following Suko. The young ape still hasn't given up on escaping. Eventually, he leads Kong to a peaceful lake before jumping into the water. Then he gestures for Kong to join him. It looks harmless. It's a trap. The moment Kong steps into the lake, a gigantic serpent-like titan explodes from beneath the surface. The monster wraps itself around Kong, trying to drag him underwater. Meanwhile, Suko quietly slips away. Bad idea. Within moments, Kong tears the sea creature apart, then hurls his axe straight in front of Suko. The little ape freezes, caught again. As Kong begins eating the defeated monster, he notices Suko sitting nearby, watching, hungry. Without saying a word, Kong tears off a piece of meat and tosses it toward him. Suko hesitates for a second, then accepts it. It's the first act of kindness he's probably ever experienced. From that moment on, he stops seeing Kong as an enemy. Back in the Arctic, Godzilla finally reaches Tiamat's territory. The ancient titan attacks immediately, but this fight is over almost as soon as it begins. Godzilla completely overwhelms Tiamat before ending the battle with a devastating atomic breath. Then he enters her lair, a chamber overflowing with ancient cosmic radiation. As Godzilla absorbs every last bit of its energy, his entire body begins to transform. His dorsal plates shift from blue to a brilliant glowing magenta. The king of the monsters has just become stronger than ever before. Elsewhere, Eileen and her team continue following the underground waterways until they're suddenly surrounded by armed warriors. For a brief moment, everyone prepares for a fight, but the warriors never attack. Instead, they escort the group to a hidden village, a civilization the world believed had vanished forever, the Iwi. The moment the Iwi queen sees Gia, she immediately walks toward her. Taking Gia's hands, she communicates through telepathy. Within seconds, she understands everything. Gia is the last surviving child of Skull Island's Iwi, and Eileen is the woman who saved her life. The queen peacefully welcomes the entire team before leading them into an ancient temple hidden beneath the village. Inside, enormous murals stretch across the walls. They aren't just historical records, they're warnings. As Eileen begins translating the carvings, the forgotten history of Hollow Earth finally comes to light. Long ago, humans and titans lived in harmony. The Titans protected nature, while Kong's ancestors stood as humanity's guardians. That peace ended when a ruthless ruler known as Scar King demanded control over both Hollow Earth and the surface world. Leading an army of great apes, he launched a war against Godzilla's species. The battle became so devastating, it nearly destroyed the entire planet. In the end, Godzilla defeated Scar King and imprisoned him deep inside a hidden realm where no one could ever reach him, or so everyone believed. The murals reveal one final secret. Even in exile, Scar King never stopped growing stronger. Deep within his prison, he discovered an ancient titan unlike anything the world had ever seen, Shimo, a living force powerful enough to freeze the planet itself. Using a mysterious crystal, Scar King keeps Shimo under constant pain, forcing the unwilling titan to obey every command. Then Illy notices one final carving, a prophecy. It says that when Scar King finally escapes, only the last surviving Iwi from Skull Island can awaken Mothra, the queen of the monsters, because when that day comes, neither Kong nor even Godzilla will be able to stop the coming war alone. For the first time in years, Kong finally stands before other great apes. The moment he enters their kingdom, he thinks he's finally found his family. He couldn't have been more wrong. Instead of living freely, every ape is forced into slavery. Some haul massive boulders, others mine deep beneath the caves. Anyone who slows down gets beaten. An elderly ape collapses from exhaustion while carrying an enormous rock. A guard immediately begins attacking him. Kong watches for 1 second, then steps in. One punch. That's all it takes. The guard crashes to the ground. The entire cavern falls silent. Every ape freezes. One terrified worker sprints deeper into the cave, straight to the one everyone fears, Scar King. Moments later, the tyrant finally appears. Every ape immediately bows their head. Everyone except Kong. Scar King doesn't attack. He smiles, almost as if he's amused. Then his eyes shift towards Zuko. The little ape has just brought an outsider into his kingdom. Before Scar King can punish him, Zuko's elderly guardian steps forward, trying to protect the child. Scar King doesn't even hesitate. He grabs the old ape and throws him straight into a river of lava. The entire kingdom watches in complete silence. Nobody dares move. Nobody except Kong. His patience is gone. With a furious roar, he charges straight at Scar King. The two great apes collide with incredible force. Despite looking old and thin, Scar King is unbelievably skilled. Every attack feels calculated. Every movement feels effortless. Then Kong notices something strange. Scar King's real weapon isn't the bone whip in his hand, it's the glowing crystal attached to it. With a single command, massive stone gates begin opening behind him. Something enormous slowly emerges from the darkness. Shimo, an ancient titan unlike anything Kong has ever seen. But one thing becomes obvious immediately. Shimo isn't fighting by choice. The moment Scar King raises the crystal, Shimo screams in pain. Forced to obey, she unleashes a devastating frostbite blast directly at Kong. Kong barely raises his axe in time. The weapon blocks most of the attack, but not all of it. His right arm is instantly frozen solid. The pain is unbearable. For the first time in this fight, Kong realizes he can't win. Not today. Before Scar King's army can surround him, Zuko secretly points toward a hidden tunnel. Kong doesn't hesitate. He escapes through the narrow passage, leaving his axe behind. Scar King immediately orders every warrior to hunt him down. Big mistake. This is Kong's territory. He leads the pursuing apes straight into a series of hunting traps, scattered across Hollow Earth. Explosions of rock collapse around them. Several warriors are trapped instantly. The last group almost escapes, until Zuko drops a gigantic boulder from above, cutting off their pursuit. At that moment, Zuko finally makes his choice. He isn't following Kong because he's afraid anymore. He's following him because he believes in him. But Kong's condition is getting worse. His frozen arm is barely functioning. Following his bond with Jia, Kong eventually reaches the hidden Iwi village. The protective barrier opens, allowing him inside. The moment he arrives, he collapses. Unfortunately, one surviving ape has followed him the entire way. Hidden in the shadows, the spy quietly memorizes the village's location before racing back to Scar King. The secret is finally out. The prison that kept Scar King trapped for centuries now has a doorway. Without wasting a second, Scar King climbs onto Shimo's back, gathers his entire army, and marches toward the Iwi civilization. Back at the Iwi village, Trapper examines Kong's frozen arm. The damage is severe. If they don't act now, Kong may never fight again. Then Trapper remembers something. Project Powerhouse. Years ago, Monarch secretly built an experimental Titan exoskeleton capable of restoring and amplifying a Titan's strength during extreme emergencies. The project was abandoned, but one prototype still exists inside a nearby Monarch facility. Minutes later, Trapper returns carrying the massive mechanical gauntlet. He locks it onto Kong's injured arm. Powerful injectors immediately flood the frozen muscles with restorative compounds, while the armored gauntlet restores his strength. Within moments, Kong slowly clenches his fist. He's back. Just then, Zuko comes sprinting into the village, completely terrified. Only 2 words matter: Scar King, coming. Jia immediately understands what that means. She looks at Kong, then signs just 2 words: bring Godzilla. Kong doesn't waste another second. He charges through a surface portal, emerging in the middle of Cairo, Egypt. Then he lets out a roar so powerful, it echoes across the entire city. Thousands of miles away, Godzilla hears it instantly and changes course. Back in Hollow Earth, the ancient prophecy is finally set into motion. Guided by the Iwi Queen, Jia climbs to the top of Mothra's sacred temple. As she completes the ancient ritual, golden light bursts across the sky. A massive cocoon begins to glow. Seconds later, Mothra is reborn. The legendary guardian spreads her magnificent wings once again before soaring through the portal toward the surface. Watching the sky above them, the Iwi Queen gives a single order: evacuate the village. Because after thousands of years, the war foretold by their ancestors has finally begun. Kong's roar echoes across Cairo, and it doesn't take long for Godzilla to answer. Within moments, the king of the monsters storms into the city. Kong immediately raises his hands. He isn't trying to fight, he's trying to warn him, but Godzilla doesn't see an ally. He sees an old rival standing on his territory. Without a second of hesitation, he attacks. The 2 Alpha Titans collide with earth-shaking force, leveling everything around them. This time, Kong has one major advantage: his new mechanical gauntlet. Each punch hits harder than ever before, allowing him to briefly overpower Godzilla and force him toward the Hollow Earth portal. For one moment, it actually looks like Kong might pull it off. Then everything changes. Godzilla fires his atomic breath. Kong barely avoids the blast. Before he can recover, Godzilla slams him to the ground. His dorsal plates begin glowing brighter and brighter. The atomic breath is fully charged. Kong is seconds away from dying. Then, a golden light fills the sky. Mothra. She lands between the 2 titans, stopping the battle before it's too late. Through the ancient bond they've shared for thousands of years, Mothra calms Godzilla and reminds him why Kong called him here. Not for another rivalry, for a war against Scar King. Meanwhile, back in Hollow Earth, the Iwi begin activating the ancient crystal temple. 2 enormous crystal pyramids slowly move toward each other. Once they connect, every portal leading to the surface will be sealed. They're only moments away when the ground suddenly shakes. Scar King has arrived. Riding on Shimo's back, he orders her to freeze the mechanism. One blast is all it takes. The pyramids are instantly trapped beneath solid ice. Seconds later, Godzilla and Kong crash into the battlefield together. Without exchanging a single glance, both titans instinctively split their targets. Godzilla takes on Shimo. Kong charges straight for Scar King. The entire temple erupts into chaos. Then something completely unexpected happens. The frozen pyramids finally break free and collide, triggering a massive gravity shift. Instantly, the battlefield becomes weightless. Entire mountains begin floating through the air. Titans, boulders, ancient ruins. Everything drifts in every direction as the battle continues in zero gravity. Nearby, Trapper desperately loads the remaining Iwi onto his aircraft. Just as several ape warriors leap toward them, Mothra sweeps across the battlefield, trapping the attackers with her silk and buying everyone enough time to escape. Moments later, the pyramids separate again. Gravity suddenly returns. Everyone crashes back to the ground, but the damage has already been done. Using the confusion, Scar King escapes through one of the portals, straight to the surface. Godzilla immediately follows. Kong jumps after them. His axe slips from his hand, but he dives through the portal anyway. The final battle now reaches Rio de Janeiro. The moment Scar King arrives, he begins tearing through the city. Kong intercepts him almost immediately. One massive punch sends Scar King's tooth flying across the street. Enraged, Scar King orders Shimo to freeze him. Before she can attack, Godzilla slams into the battlefield. One blast of atomic breath shatters Scar King's crystal whip, sending the control crystal flying across the city. Kong races toward it, but Shimo blocks his path. Back in Hollow Earth, Zuko discovers Kong's abandoned axe. Without thinking twice, he grabs it and races through the portal to help. While Godzilla keeps Shimo occupied, Kong desperately fights his way toward the crystal. Just before Scar King reaches him, Zuko arrives. With one perfect swing, he shatters the crystal into pieces. Everything changes. For the first time, Shimo is free. No more pain, no more control. Realizing he's lost his greatest weapon, Scar King explodes with rage and turns on Zuko. He's too late. Kong lands a crushing punch that launches Scar King straight toward Godzilla. Godzilla instantly smashes him back with a powerful tail strike. The two Alpha Titans begin passing Scar King between them like he's nothing. He never gets the chance to recover. Finally, Kong catches him in midair. At that exact moment, Shimo unleashes her full frostbite blast. Within seconds, Scar King is frozen solid. Kong lifts the frozen tyrant above his head, then slams him into the ground with all his strength. The ice shatters. So does Scar King. The tyrant who terrorized Hollow Earth for thousands of years is finally gone. With the battle over, Godzilla melts away Shimo's massive ice storm, using his atomic breath, restoring the planet's natural balance once again. Back in Hollow Earth, Mothra gently returns Gia to Elin. Watching Gia reconnect with her own people, Elin quietly tells her something from the heart. If you choose to stay here, I'll understand. This can be your home. Gia smiles, then signs the one answer Elaine never expected. You are my home. Unable to hold back her emotions, Elaine embraces her daughter. Nearby, Mothra restores the ancient barrier, protecting the hidden Iwi civilization, sealing their home once again. Meanwhile, Kong returns to the Great Ape Kingdom, alongside Zuko and the now free Shimo. For the first time in generations, the apes are no longer slaves. After years of believing he was the last of his kind, Kong finally has what he always wanted: a family, a kingdom, a place to truly call home. As for Godzilla, he quietly returns to Rome. Once again, he curls up inside the Colosseum and closes his eyes.